In my previous video, I had shown you how to create a simple empty activity. Once the activity has been created, the window will be displayed as shown here. Here we can see that there are different window panes of an Android Studio, which are categorized according to their purpose. So let us see what are these window panes and what are the purpose of each of these window panes. To begin with, we have the following important window panes. One is the toolbar, the navigation bar, the project window, the editor window, the status bar. So now here we can see that there is a toolbar here. So this is your toolbar here, where you can see that there are several tools which are nothing but the shortcut of the tools such as run, debug, device manager, which are already a part of the files. The other part of the window panes are the navigation bar. So you can see here this is the navigation bar, which is going to show you the complete project structure of where exactly this activity main.xml is located. If I click on main activity, you can see that the path gets updated to the location. Okay, the entire path will be displayed here. The next important window is your editor, which you can see here starting from your palette till your attributes. So this whole screen here, from this, the palette, the componentry, the space where you design, the attributes, the whole of this becomes your editor, where you actually design your UI and also attach the logic of your code into the UI using your main activity.java. So you can see here, this is your, I am in the activity main.xml. The activity main.xml has three subsections. You can see here the code, the split, and the design. If I want to view the user interface in the design mode, I have to click on the design tab, which is already I am in. If I click on the code, I will get the respective XML tags related to the UI design. If I want to watch parallelly the edition as well as the design together, so I go into the split mode. So in the split mode, I'll be able to view both the XML content of it as well as the design part of it. So if I drag, so I'll come back to this now here. I'll come to the design here. And also you can see that I can zoom in, zoom out this particular space here. Here in the palette window, I have a list of components which are called as views in the Android Studio. So here this view, say if I say I have a button here. So if I click on a button, I can choose a range of different categories of buttons which are listed here, which we will see in the later videos. So since this is just a second video, so I'll just show you how to place this and how an XML file is created for this particular button. So I'm going to just click it, drag it, and place it in my window space here. Right, so this is the area where, this is actually the area where I'm going to place my components. So here you can see that when a button is placed here and I go into the XML file, where I can go directly, I can say go to XML, or alternatively I can choose the activity main.xml. So if I go to the XML file here, I can see that the XML tag for the button UI component is being created here, and it has given a name to it as text, as button. So to check here, there are two important attributes. One is the ID and one is the text. So ID is the most important component, okay, which gives the identification to each of the views or the components which are placed, so that I can attach a logic to it using my Java program. So next, I can also, so I'll go to the activity, I'll go to the design, and suppose I want to edit the name of this. One way is I can go to the XML file and edit it manually, or I can go to the attributes window here. So you can see that I have selected the button here. So it is reflecting here as button 2, and I'll come down here. It has a common set of attributes. When I come down here, I have a text here. So I'm going to give this as click me. And I'm going to increase the font size to be large. So you can see that it is reflected here. Therefore, this attributes, so whichever component you want to change the attributes of it, such as the appearance of it or the label on it, then I have to choose the component, and then I have to go down to these attributes and make a changes to that. Here, alternatively, you can see that when I make a change and go to the XML file, in the code section here, you can see that it has updated in my XML file also. So you can see there's an XML file has been updated as click me. So come back to the design window here. So this is where you place. We will see more about it in the coming sessions. So the next is you have a componentry here. The componentry is going to give you the hierarchy or the structure of the components which have been placed in this particular space. So you can see at the back end you have the constraint layout. Below that there was already a text view, and then I placed the button. So the structure of this placement of the components is represented or can be visualized using your componentry. The next we have important palette or the important pane is your project pane. So you can see here there's a project and there's a resource manager. So when I click on the project, 3 important files related to your project goes as your manifest, Java, and the resource. More about it we'll see in the coming sessions. Okay, so here we have a resource manager. So in the resource manager, you can see that this particular folder is having a set of resources such as drawable, color, layout, strings, navigation, animation. So drawable, where you can have the different images can be loaded here which you want to be used to your project. The colors we can use it here, whichever we want, and the layouts we're going to use. So these more about a session on a resource manager will be covered. Along with that, we also have a structure here where you can see. So now I'm in the XML, therefore the structure of this particular file is displayed here. The constraint layout, there's a component on a view, and there's a text view and a button. If I click on the main.java, it's going to give me the hierarchy here. That's the main activity, and under the main activity, I have just one method, which is the onCreate. So it is showing me here. So here you also have something called as a Gradle. A Gradle is basically used for creating a APK file using which combines your source files, basically your XML and a Java file, into a single file by converting into a DEX file and generates the APK file. It is a software. It is basically used. It's an open source which is basically used for creating a single APK file from two source files, which is your XML and Java file. The last window pane is nothing but your status bar. So this is your status bar where the status of your project, whether it is built successfully, whether there's a debug mode or it's still loading. So any status activity related to your project will be reflected in the status bar. So therefore, in today's session, we have covered the different panes of this particular Android Studio. And I hope you're enjoying the video. So the other details I'll be covering in the next session. Thank you.